Time for an oil change on the 2016 F150 with the 5.0. This is going to be just about 8 quarts of oil. It's actually 7.7 quarts is what the manual lists with the oil filter. Now this truck is now up to 117,000 miles, so this is my personal preferred oil and filter. Pretty simple job. You're just going to need the oil and the filter, oil filter, wrench, 15 millimeter shallow socket, 3-inch extension, and a ratchet. If you're skinny enough, you don't even need to jack the truck up. One other thing I should probably mention, you're going to need an oil drain pan. Again, make sure it's large enough to hold about 8 quarts of oil. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and scoot under here from the driver's side, and I'll show you where our oil drain plug is. Okay, so coming in from the driver's side, if you come straight in from behind the tire, you're going to see this black torsion bar that goes across the front end. You'll see the transmission pan is like a silver color. Right in front of that, you'll see the black oil pan cover, and right there's our drain plug, right in front of this torsion bar. So again, 15 millimeter socket. Go ahead and get your pan put in place, and go ahead and pop that loose. So now while that's finishing draining, let me show you your drain plug here. You'll see the rubber seals built into the drain plug. I've reused this several times. It's a 2016. It is now 2024. I've owned the vehicle since brand new. I have not had an issue with this leaking or needing to be replaced. But every so often, not a bad idea to check it and possibly replace it. If you torque it to spec like I've been doing all these years, again, I have not had an issue. The torque spec on this is 19 foot-pound. So with the drain plug reinstalled and torqued to 19 foot-pound, we're now ready to move on to the oil filter. Now I find this easier to access from above than below. So look right in the engine here, and you'll see the oil filter right straight down from the air box. Right there it is. I don't know how easy you'll be able to see this in the video, but on the vehicle is a little pan that's part of the truck that directs the oil into one spot. So just position your oil drain pan right where that drain pan on the vehicle is, and in theory the oil should hit that and run into that. So with your drain pan in place, go ahead and remove your oil filter. Okay, so with the old oil filter off, something I want you to take notice of. You'll notice that there's a new O-ring on the new filter. Make sure the old O-ring comes off with the old filter. If the O-ring sticks to the vehicle and doesn't come off with the filter, and you put this on so that you now have 2 O-rings on the vehicle, you're going to have oil spray everywhere. So always make sure that rubber seal comes off with the filter. Go ahead and just take some oil off the old filter and put a light coat around the O-ring of the new filter. That's going to help get us a nice good seal on there. Once you have a coating of oil on the new O-ring, you're ready to reinstall this. You're just going to put this as tight as you can get it by hand, and then a 1/4 turn with the ratchet. So I just reinstalled that from below to show you where you would access it from down below. Again, total preference if you come from the top or whether you go in through the bottom. Really just depends on how big you are, how long your arms are, and things like that. But with the 3-inch extension, you can get to it from below as well. Okay, so with our oil filter now replaced, we're ready to put in our fresh oil. Right here's where the new oil is going to go. You'll see right on the cap, it'll tell you even what kind, which is 5W20. And then your dipstick to check it is on the driver's side of the engine, and it's yellow. Now personally, I like these long funnels with the flexible neck, and they have a built-in strainer. So you don't have to worry about dirt and debris that might already be in the funnel from a previous fill. I cleaned it out regardless. But it helps you get down in these tighter spots where you might make a mess with a regular filter. Now totally up to you how much oil you want to start off with. Better to have too little and have to add some than have too much and have to drain some out. So I personally started off with about 7 quarts. So once we get some oil in there, we're ready to check our dipstick. Now you're going to see those 2 dots there. We're aiming for the top dot. That's where we want to be when we're finished. So now you see we're just above the bottom hole there. So we're going to need to add just about another quart. So once we do get up near that second hole, we're going to start the vehicle up, and then we're going to check the dipstick again. What that does is gets oil all throughout the system and fills up the oil filter with oil. So you'll take notice in your instrument cluster, you have 4 gauges at the top. The far left one is going to be the oil pressure. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the vehicle up until we see that gauge react. As soon as it reacts, that means the oil pressure is established, which means the oil filter is full of oil and the oil is through the system. That's when we can go and then check the oil level again. You'll notice this gauge did not move yet like the others did. And it only takes a couple seconds. Right there we go. As soon as that moves, we know oil is throughout the system and the oil filter is full of oil and we can recheck our level. Once you've started the truck up and you've waited for that oil pressure gauge to respond, you don't need to do that again. Oil is now all throughout the system and the oil filter is full of oil. So now you can shut the truck off and just go by the dipstick. So pull the dipstick, wipe it off, dip it again, and keep adding oil until you're at that top hash mark. Once that's all done, the oil change is complete. Before you go pulling it out of the garage, start the truck up again and look underneath there, make sure you don't have any oil leaks anywhere, and then you're finished. That's all there is to doing an oil filter change on your F-150 with the 5.0. I really hope this video helped you out. If it did, hit it with a like, subscribe to the channel, always more stuff coming. And as always, I really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.